I'm from the home of the locks. It don't stop. A young girl trying to make it to the top. I like to mix the new with the hip hop. Give them something they can feel and something they can rock. I'm from the home of the locks. It don't stop. A young girl trying to make it to the top. I like to mix the new with the hip hop. Give them something they can feel and something they can rock. Let me tell you about me, if you don't know. Love a girl, don't play, she don't take no jokes. Got a super clean swag and a sick ass flow. Everything she spit, guaranteed she wrote. And she ain't worried about what you doing. If you ain't giving her cash, keep it moving. I'm from the home of the locks. It don't stop. A young girl trying to make it to the top. I like to mix the new with the hip hop. Give them something they can feel and something they can rock. I'm from the home of the locks. It don't stop. A young girl trying to make it to the top. I like to mix the new with the hip hop. Give them something they can feel and something they can rock. And I ain't really with the drama, so you can save all that for your mama. I'm motivated and I'm chasing these commas and trying to stay out the way of your honor. Don't wanna shoot out, don't wanna fight. All I wanna do is rock the mic and just live my life until it's done. I ain't stopping till I'm number one. I'm from the home of the locks. It don't stop. A young girl trying to make it to the top. I like to mix the new with the hip hop. Give them something they can feel and something they can rock. I'm from the home of the locks. It don't stop. A young girl trying to make it to the top. I like to mix the new with the hip hop. Give them something they can feel and something they can rock.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Like It Really Is with Maurice. I am your host. What's good? Blessings upon blessings. Yeah. Another day, y'all. We out here. Just want to let y'all know that we've been kind of not going live lately because we've been a little bit busy. A couple of situations and life situations going on. So I hope you guys are still chiming into our stuff and looking at our videos and just going back and just checking out some of the stuff that we've done in the past. All the love that you display to us is appreciated. We can't do it without you. Special shout out to all my Yonkers affiliates, everybody, from the Bronx, BX, Burnside, all my homeboys, all the fam, all the squad, peace and blessings. Special shout out to all my people out there in North Kakalaki, North Carolina. What's going on? What's good? What's goody? Yeah. Today it's gonna be a little bit, we're gonna just kind of do things a little bit unorthodox today because I'm not wasn't really planning to come on today, but I figured, I haven't been on in a minute. So let me just come on and do something and talk about something. I mean, there's so many things that's going on that's kind of crazy, in our world and our community, especially with people that have emotional situations and emotional problems and, just a whole array of different things that's going on. I have friends that are from Psych2Go. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Psych2Go. Those are friends of mine. We work together in the process of trying to bring forth, awareness to a lot of situations that we're going through in our communities. So, for right now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring up a video, that kind of talks about some issues that may plague our community. And maybe you can some people can identify with it. Some people might not be able to identify with it. But if you can identify with it, then, blessings on top of blessings, because I think that these kind of things is needed for us to actually, go forward in what we, in situations in our lives. So, um, like I said, we doing this right off a whim. Okay. We just doing this off the whim. All right. So just stand by. Let me just get everything, you know, working together, working in my favor. Let's see how we got this here. All right. You see that? All right. We're going to do it. Yeah. We're doing it like that today. All right. We're doing it like that today. So just take a minute and let's take a listen to this video here, because it kind of, it tells us a story about 6 signs that you've been emotionally abused. There's a lot of people out here that are going through a lot of stuff in their relationships, in their lives, and just, the we don't realize that a lot of stuff is from some of the things that we've been through, some of the challenges that we've been through, and it affects our future. It affects our future relationships. I just want you guys to just take a moment, just take a look at this video. Be patient and kind of pick out some of the things. And if you can identify with some of these things, man, listen, that I think that's half the battle, identifying with certain things. You know what I mean? Like I'm not this. Don't take this like I'm a psychologist or I know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to give out advice. This comes from a person that has been through struggles of my own. And so, I do this because maybe there's somebody out there that could benefit from watching this. You know what I mean? So helping somebody, that's what it's all about. Let's try to get this thing up and going here. All right. Let's start it up. Let's go all the way back to the front. All right. Y'all ready for this?
Abuse might not be visible, but being constantly wounded emotionally wears you out, leaving scars internally. Emotional abuse can have a traumatic impact on the nervous system. Research now includes the impact from emotional abuse as CPTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, a variation of PTSD that happens because of trauma that is ongoing and where you cannot leave the situation. Here's a list of signs that you've been emotionally abused to help with early identification of abusive relationships. Number 1, a kingdom of isolation. Whether it's from a partner or even parents, emotional abuse has the tendency to leave you feeling sapped. Researchers theorize the emotional abuse may contribute to the development of conditions such as chronic fatigue syndrome. Living each day walking on eggshells leaves you feeling drained. Emotionally abused people withdraw to feel safe. You begin to dread social interaction of any kind, as you have little strength to answer for any conversation you had or an action you took that the abuser did not approve of. It can take the form of isolation where you don't go out or speak to anybody. It may also be to try to avoid or become invisible to the abuser in hopes that the abuse will stop. Number 2, the reign of worthlessness. Emotional abuse can alter your perception. You can spend years thinking you're worthless. I'm not good enough. I don't matter. Emotional abuse leads its victims to play these thoughts on repeat. Researchers have demonstrated that emotional abuse is strongly associated with low self-esteem, more so than other forms of abuse. The insults and criticism gradually eat away at the victim's sense of self-worth. You begin to see yourself through the eyes of all those insinuations and even blame yourself for the abuse. Number 3, the fortress of avoidance. Growing up in a strictly controlling environment, you struggle with being vulnerable. You learn to use secretive behavior as an escape route to avoid conflict. A study shows these individuals adopt avoidant attachment style. You were taught to disregard uncomfortable feelings, and as a result, you're now quick to avoid such situations, even as an adult. You avoid connection whenever possible to minimize further hurt. It's difficult for you to open up to someone. Research shows this can take a toll on your relationships as you try to brush everything under the rug instead of addressing the issues. Number 4, the non-stop blame game. Is it normal for you to apologize to inanimate objects like a chair or a sofa after you accidentally bump into it? Do you blame yourself for things out of your control? Research has shown that an abuser often tries to shift all blame and guilt onto the victim, making you believe that the abuse is your fault. Add this to the supposed reinforcement of outside events, the victim comes to believe that they are the cause for everything, and so automatically apologizes for anything that goes wrong, even when there's no way to control or know about the situation at all. Number 5, a battle of frequent outbursts. It's a hard pill to swallow when someone close to us constantly blows hot and cold, serving as a tool for intimidation. According to research, this emotional push and pull can leave you feeling rejected, confused, and frustrated. You become extremely hypervigilant, being afraid to make even the smallest mistake. You overanalyze everything to try to minimize chances of conflict. The anxiety of keeping things in control leaves you feeling extremely wound up. And so you can break down even at the slightest hint of things going south. It can also be expressed as anger instead of sadness. All those suppressed emotions of violation developed throughout abuse come out when you feel like all your efforts went to waste. And number 6, conceal, don't feel. Does it seem like you're moving through the motions of life with little to no enjoyment? Or do you feel like you can't connect with people normally because you just don't feel like yourself? Every word that flies towards you registers as a dart on your emotions. The brain interprets emotional abuse as trauma and hence triggers mechanisms to help you cope. One such coping mechanism is emotional numbness. Studies show that people who were emotionally abused as children are more likely to experience emotional dysregulation, including emotional numbing as adults. Victims use this as an escape switch for the distressing situations faced in an emotionally abusive relationship. You learn to seal away your feelings in an attempt to protect yourself and detach from painful feelings related to the situation. It's scary to reach out for help, but it's one of the best ways to end the cycle of abuse and get your life back, and you're worth it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to share it with others who might need to hear it. For more related videos, don't forget to subscribe to Psych2Go and hit the notification bell. Thanks so much for watching.
All right. Blessings. Thank you very much, Psych2Go, for that. I appreciate y'all, for support and all of that stuff. Let's get into it, man. Before we get into it, right? Before we get deep into it, I want to bring up some music, right? And my man Bill Blass out there in Yonkers, shout out to him. Has been doing some wonders. One thing I like about Bill Blass is that, this brother just continues to just keep pushing music, man. I think that's like a positive thing. Like I dig that. Like, someone that just doesn't give up, just keeps on pushing and pushing. I want to also make a comment about something, about, Yonkers, period. Yonkers is like a, place that I kind of started up and, started a lot of, hip hop, not hip hop, starting hip hop in Yonkers, but I was a part of a lot of events, back in the days and stuff like that. So, I got love for everybody from YO. I'm kind of hesitant in talking right now because I really don't want to come out and say this, but I really got to say this because, I'm seeing, there's a certain person out there that has a book, that is called Yonkers, The Story of Yonkers. I don't have a problem with people when they write books and, they tell their story because, when they tell their story, it's from their eyes, from what they've seen. But, you cannot erase certain people, that's a part of the history. And then, people are looking at your book and they think that that is the history, the full history of Yonkers. It's not. You know what I mean? You may have gotten some parts of it right, but then there's some parts you left out. And I really rarely would say anything about this, but the reason why I'm saying it is because I was a part of the history. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like it doesn't come across my brain cells too well, when, I see books come out that are, kind of telling not even the whole story of Yonkers and how, things really worked out and how things really was. Um, but yo, check this out. We're gonna do this one more time. You know what I'm saying? My man Bill Blast, he's got some new music, and I want to pull this up real quick so you guys can check this out. Share the screen type of thing. Same old, same old. Um, let's see if we can get it pulled up here. I think we can. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Blast's new music. New music from Bill Blast, right? And again, like I said, got to give him his accolades because he just continues to just keep pushing music and he just don't give up. So let's give it up for him. Okay.
You told We'll break it down, how I break it down. Watch me break it down without breaking down. Hey yo, it used to be real, but they fake it now. A lot of fakes around, snakes around, use a clown. Trying to put somebody down to make yourself look good. That's most these niggas in the hood, y'all niggas get from round. Authentic, original, genuine, soldiers and generals. Extra blunt, no subliminals, criminals, stealing niggas styles. They foul, women dudes, BITCHs, the types that be hating, but smiling niggas' faces. Straight up, y'all disgraces, some gay shit, on some real shit. I don't play this. I got a pure heart, can't show no half-ass love. I'd rather separate myself than to have bad blood. Y'all talk that gangster shit, but y'all ain't no thugs. Always talking about that bag, but y'all niggas is scrubs. Every time y'all try to hang around me, that's a dub. Start stiff-arming you niggas. No more hugs. When I heard you never told that you told her. You told her that it's not fair. When I heard you never told that you told her. You told her that it's not fair. When I heard you never told that you told her. When I heard you never told that you told her. You told her that it's not fair.
Let's check it out one more time, y'all. One more time.
You told her that it's not fair. We'll break it down, how I break it down. Watch me break it down without breaking down. Hey yo, it used to be real, but they fake it now. A lot of fakes around, snakes around, use a clown. Trying to put somebody down to make yourself look good. That's most these niggas in the hood, y'all niggas get from round. Authentic, original, genuine, soldiers and generals. Extra blunt, no subliminals, criminals, stealing niggas styles. They foul, women dudes, BITCHs, the types that be hating, but smiling niggas' faces. Straight up, y'all disgraces, some gay shit, on some real shit. I don't play this. I got a pure heart, can't show no half-ass love. I'd rather separate myself than to have bad blood. Y'all talk that gangster shit, but y'all ain't no thugs. Always talking about that bag, but y'all niggas is scrubs. Every time y'all try to hang around me, that's a dub. Start stiff-arming you niggas. No more hugs. When I heard you never told that you told her. You told her that it's not fair. When I heard you never told that you told her. You told her that it's not fair. When I heard you never told that you told her. When I heard you never told.
Yeah. All right, so that's get it. All right. Guess I want to stop. You don't want to stop. Don't want to stop. All right. All right. Yo, listen. All right. So, shout outs to my boy, um, Y2. Bill Blast doing his music and always keeping it a buck 50. We definitely appreciate you, my brother. Blessings upon blessings to you. Let's see who's over on Facebook, man. Let's go take a little glance over there and see what's popping. Um, man, it's been real busy out here in this world today, man. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff, happening in the world with a lot of people, man. And I'm seeing the struggle, from from my end. And it's just amazing, how things um, uh, oh yeah, okay. So I definitely, I'm looking at this here. I'm checking out my man, Mr. Enders. Um, um, he responded to me, Jerome Enders. Uh, though this is what I put up. I said, though this is probably a great book, it doesn't fully explain Yonkers hip hop. And I think his response was, that wasn't the intent. I put this book out 15 years ago. You had plenty of time to do your own. Oh no, I definitely will be doing my own. That's for sure. Yeah, yeah, definitely. He says, if you've got missing pieces, create your own. No, definitely, we definitely will. So, you know, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, like I said, man, that's something that's from your eyes, my brother. Nobody can't stop you from, you know, um, speaking what you speak. But just like me, I can't. Nobody can stop me from speaking how I speak and how I feel. When I see a book that says Yonkers, Yonkers hip hop, stuff like that, just doesn't make me, feel like you've done the real research. You know what I mean? To figure it out. All right, so let's get into this emotional situation that we're talking about. We're going to jump from that situation because we don't want to put too much energy to that. But one thing I must say to the people that's out there that's making comments, be careful, because I mean, I got a platform. You know what I mean? I got a platform. I got a microphone. I could use my microphone, and I could definitely you know I'm not even really going to say what I could do, but I'm just saying that if you want to come on my show, Mr. Royal Rome, and speak your piece or speak anything, I, to tell you the truth, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a positive thing for me to just say, come on to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a conversation, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes some things are just better left alone, because what benefit does it have? What benefit is it to you, to me? Like, there is no benefit. I just made my comment and I just spoke on how I felt. And that is not the book that depicts Yonkers hip hop. That may be a portion of it, a part of it, but that is not, the book. And we're going to work on trying to get something real out there for you people out there. You know what I mean? So special shout outs to the brother Jerome Enders and his affiliates over there. Peace and blessings to y'all. Um, so as we seen the video, let's get to the video. People that have emotional, um, situations, or have dealt with emotional abuse. Um, I mean, this kind of thing runs rampant in our communities. Uh, and it shows up when it shows up in relationships. It shows up in how we work and how we present ourselves at work. You know, some people have a good way of putting a mask over their emotions. You know what I'm saying, or their feelings and stuff like that. Listen, if you have a comment and you want to come into my live and you want to talk about it, you got some comments, please feel free to chime in. Um, I think I could leave, some information. Uh, I could leave some information for you so you could just come into the chat room and say what you want to say what you feel. But there's a lot of different aspects of this. Like, I mean, sometimes you run into people, that have some real serious emotional issues. And then you wonder to yourself, you say, damn, is that me? Is it me that has the problem? Is it me? You start to blame yourself and look at yourself. And, one thing that for these day and times, I encourage black men, to take a moment and take a minute to sustain from physical contact of a woman, and also, just like kind of like a celibacy, you know what I mean? So you can get to know who you are, because I think that's really important, because if you don't know who you are, you can get sucked into this emotional roller coaster. It could be a woman going through it with a man, just like a man going through it with a woman. It's a emotional roller coaster, and a lot of it it comes from their growing up, their past, how they were raised as a child, what kind of environment they were in. There's all kinds of things that play in the balance when it comes down to why people are the way they are. Some people are just stuck, and they can't get out. They're not able to step out of the box and look at the box. That's a big problem. You got to be able to step out of the box and look at the box and see what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I know somebody, I have a friend that I know that, that I had invited over my house, and, I said, hey, yeah, you can come on over, chill, whatever, cool out or whatever. They said, do you have lotion? Do you have soap? Do you have food? Do you have utensils? Do you have this? Do you have that? And, in a way I was like, I was like, okay, damn, I was like, wow, I got to get all of this stuff. But in a way I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I have to think about that. It's like, you want me to have this ready and that ready and this ready and that ready, and it's like, what are you bringing to the table? You're bringing yourself, okay, but you also bring in emotional imbalance to my life. You know what I mean? Because you have not stepped out of the box and looked at the box, which is looking at yourself. And sometimes people can take you down that road and make you feel less than. A lot of people do things because they have low self-esteem, and they want to take you down with them. So you have to build up a certain kind of strength, a certain kind of power. Your self-esteem has to be on point. Because I'm gonna tell you something, there was a point in time where my self-esteem wasn't on point. And I made a lot of mistakes. I made I went, I thought less of myself. And so, being that you think less of yourself, you go out and you get something that's worth less. Worthless. See what I'm saying? See how that works? Worthless. And then you keep like, sometimes we keep accepting certain things. We'll be like, okay, well, that person does this and that, so I'm going to accept that. We're just going to let that go, and we ain't going to sweat that. Okay, yeah, just kind of sweep things under the rug, per se. But that's where the problem comes in, when you sweep things under the rug, because eventually you keep sweeping things under the rug, you're going to have a big amount of dirt underneath that rug. You know what I mean? Emotional imbalance, emotional stress, emotional problems, low self-esteem. These days, 2023, if you don't have a great self-esteem, if you don't think good about yourself, then you're going to slowly go down a mountain, the side of a mountain. You're going to fall, and your parachute is not going to open. You know what I mean? I think I've told you guys before about that thing about the parachute, and you believe in yourself, just jump, take that chance, Sometimes you're going to hit the side of the mountain. You're going to scuff yourself up, but eventually your parachute will open. But if you continuously have people that are around you that don't bring out the best in you, then you're just staying right here, man. You're just staying right here. Who wants to stay right there? Nobody has time for that. And so the reason why I'm doing like these videos is just so, like, maybe if you look back at the little cartoon, right, with my people Psych to Go, and you take a look, run it back again, run it back a couple of times. And I bet you that you might be able to say, damn, I see a little something that's in that video, that's in me, that I'm going through, that I'm struggling through, and be able to say, you know what, let me fix this, everybody, and that kind of, like I said, it messes with your relationship, because everybody is not like, what happens is, what we do is, when we get hurt by other people, then we start hurting other people. Hurt people, right? Once you get hurt, you're going to hurt somebody else because you got hurt. You know what I mean? So all of these signs you have to really, really take a look at before you even try to embark in trying to have a relationship, or just, being together with someone. If you got a comment, you could say something in the Facebook chat there. I mean, let me see if we still got it going on over there. If you're on Facebook and you agree, disagree, you got comments, feel free to speak about it. Feel free to speak about it, because, I have no problems with that. It's like, also, just like all of these, just talk about another emotional problem that we have. Like, we have a lot of women out here that's, you got nails, you're doing your nails every month. You got your big booty, you got the plastic in your butt, you got plastic in your breasts, you got the eyelashes and all of this stuff. Like, I think that's really, really unnecessary. I think, like, please stop it. Like, take it off. You know what I mean? You don't really need, to have all of that kind of stuff. Like, eyelashes, I can't even see your eyes. You know what I'm saying? And then you go home and you take, you go to sleep. Half of the makeup is on the pillow. Your eyelashes is stuck to the pillow. You know what I mean? Like, now we got to do laundry because your makeup is all over the pillow. And then, when you take off your wig and you take off your makeup, you put on a do-rag, and now it feels like I'm chilling with the homie. You know what I mean? Like, you're throwing us off here. You're throwing us off. So emotional problems, emotional situations and issues, man, they affect people in many different ways, man. And I think, like I said, nowadays it's time to really be careful, because, there is just a lot going on. There's a lot of dysfunction going on, and I don't know. The only way we're going to get through that is if we just kind of like, who knows? I'm just here just to kind of give a little bit, give some kind of insight to some of the things that, I'm saying, that could be a problem. I have friends that are in the Bronx, friends of mine is that I know that, that I've known for many, many years, women, females that, they have kids, and, they have this anger. this anger. That's what we have to get rid of, is the anger. That anger part. And it's not just relationships, it's family relationships. We got to get rid of that anger, because it's coming through, man. That anger seeping through. It's seeping through the damn walls, man, because you can't hide it. You can't hide anger, So, I hope that everyone takes a little bit of a look-see and kind of figures it out. For any young person that runs into someone, and you're constantly feeling like, that person is playing you or doing something, just being disrespectful, be careful, because it could be a beginning of something that's going to blow up in the future. You know what I mean? And then you sweep it under the rug, and then all of that stuff you sweep under the rug, is going to come out eventually. You know what I mean? So, let's kind of stay focused, man. So again, I've been going through the internet and looking through a lot of stuff, looking at, a lot of topics and things that things that have transpired in our communities and stuff like that. And I've just come to the assumption that, we really can't control what's going on in this world. It's very difficult to control what's going on in this world. We don't have any control. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that it's a possibility that we might be going to war. We might have a World War III really soon. A lot of people aren't paying attention to that because they're very much mixed up into their own lives. And you know what I'm saying? Like they're stuck. You're stuck on stupid. You know what I mean? And my prayers also go out to all those people out there that in the South that got hit with those storms. I just wanted to say a little something about that, because that was crazy. That's crazy. Like, I don't understand. Like, all those people died, right? Didn't they have like an alarm to like warn you that there's a storm coming? Don't they have a basement that you can go to that's like a shelter? Or is it that they don't have basements? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be something that's given out by FEMA to help troubleshoot from these things happening again. I just don't understand how things are allowed to happen and continuously happen, and it just it's not making any sense to me. So shout out to everybody down south. My man Donnie, special shout out to you. My brother Tom B out there, my Yonkers family, Angie, Melvin, everybody out there in the South, Borum family, special shout out to all of y'all out there, and everybody that I know out there that I haven't mentioned your name, shout out to y'all. And I hope you all are safe out there in the South. This is a new temperature we're in right now. It's a new temperature. It's a new, I don't want to say it's a new world order, but in a way, things are like changing. You know what I mean? Things are changing in the world. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not in tune, then you might miss something. You know what I mean? So it's always good to be in tune. All right. So listen, we have some good music here. We're going to take a minute, take a moment, take a little bit of a break. And we're going to go and listen to my boys, some music, man. I support young people with their music. If you got a dream, if you If you're an entertainer, you have a business, have a black owned business, we support all of you guys. And so we're gonna just show some music right now of some young people that's out there that's really trying to make things happen. And we're just trying to support them in everything that people, young people are trying to do. So we're gonna be right back right after that, after this song here. But this is Little Legend, Checkmate. All right, we'll be right back right after this.
Shout out to Gary B. He killed this one. I like this. Yeah. I love being underestimated. That mean my skill level's higher than they anticipated. And when I speak out, the competition intimidated. Make them disappear, turn to dust like they disintegrated. Forget about them like they ain't even participated. My style can't be copied or imitated. These dudes out here wanna stay and follow the latest. I'm trying to stay from traces cause I wanna be the greatest. So the legend legacy will never erase. Wanted it better in your heart, so it's never replaced. Gaining knowledge, so being ignorant is never the case. Never look it down, cause up is always better to face. Shallow ones always looking for that cheddar to chase. Can't build from the top, gotta remember the base. Make excuses for not doing just to better their case. I keep cooking cause my own is always better to taste. And I'm hungry for it, can't you hear my stomach growling? Trying to tame your boy so you know that I'll be wildin'. These dudes is lame, their goal is just a couple thousand. These dudes to change just to see that money piling. They'll take the gold for their soul and they'll say they got the Midas touch. I don't think those people's life is bright enough. I don't think those people value life enough. I could change your life with the lightest touch. I just wanna be influential. The same dudes you influence making moves against you. Until you stuck with no moves like a checkmate. And then they wanna copy off you like a template. I don't blame them for it, yeah, I understand it. And I foresaw the whole thing like I'm the one who planned it. When they started hating, that's when the seed was planted. And then I water it, then you'll see how it expanded. I'm talking about the influence. I've been doing this for y'all was even into it. Funny how my grind can make another work. I'm making moves over here that's making others learn. I'm making moves over here that's making others learn. Had to say it 2 times like I'm Lil Durk. Had to kill a few times, y'all ain't get the first. This that type of thing to make the haters hurt. They try to overpower you, but it ain't how many, it's about them power moves. One step to get to the top of the tower moves. They be stepping in silence, but I'm making louder moves. Haters got a bad taste in their mouth, them sour moves. We ain't never scared, we ain't with them coward moves. Them numbers stay still, we be making ours move. Then the plan so good, they try to copy our moves. The plan to build an empire and make it rain forever. Short-term raps looking for temporary cheddar. Doing anything to get temporarily better. I just wanna shine out occasional on the regular. You see a man potential when putting them under pressure. Some gon' crack, you might see him in a stretcher. Believe in yourself, gotta be your biggest investor. I'm teaching all these rappers, they calling me the professor. Gotta keep it going, no time for a rest break. It could get you stuck with no moves like a checkmate. Me dropping the tapes, a win-win thing. And I'm about to reign forever like I've been king.
Yes, that's Little Legend, man. You already know what it is, man. This is Like It Really Is, the show that keeps you going, and keeps you going, man. We already, we doing our thing out here, trying to make things happen. Again, once again, so many things that are going on in this world, man, that's complicated. And, I really want to try to keep positive vibes, but, it's just so many things that are complicated, that we still struggling as a people. We have to, try to get past and work through and all kinds of things, because I mean, if we can't really show love to each other, then, I'm saying, in the right kind of way, like healthy, then I see that we're gonna fall by our own demise. Like, the way we communicate with each other, if you don't keep it $150 with somebody, then it's probably not going to last. And again, there's a lot of dysfunction going on out here right now. It's a lot of dysfunction, a lot of mental illness going on. Listen, do me a favor, go back, check out the video, because there's a lot of different things that you can probably kind of like connect with, right? Yeah, so again, crazy people out there, crazy relationships, you run into people that have emotional issues and emotional problems, and some people don't know how to love again. They don't know how to restart again, because of damage. This stuff it's like it follows you. It's like a little, devil following you, continuously destroying everything that you try to build. Because I think that a lot of us look at the wrong things when we try to get into a relationship with people. And I guess I'm talking right now about the relationships with people. So, we look for certain things. We look for like that physical gratification, wow, that booty's popping, the breast is up there, everything thick, what I'm saying? They got plastic, whatever, and it's popping, and you get to know the person, and the person is just not what they've they're not what they're cracked up to be. They don't bring anything to the table but this big booty and this big chest. And I don't know, is that going to help us grow? I don't know. That's why I like a natural girl. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I don't really judge people. Like, you don't have to have, everything perfect, because I've had some females that had everything perfect, and trust me, the brain's dumb. The brain is dumb. We don't want to go back down that road no more. And for you young men out there, don't waste your time. One thing is for sure, two things are for certain, is that you cannot waste your time on something that you know is not right. Don't waste your time, because no disrespect, some women have certain games that they play. And being that you don't know, a lot of guys, they say that guys learn things slower than females. Females are like steps ahead. And that's kind of true, because, women are getting over in a lot of different ways, and we're not able to understand because, we aren't really hip to the game. Like, you don't have that knowledge, but if you have the knowledge of how to handle and how to deal with situations, you won't have a problem, and, if you're looking for someone just because they got a nice body or they fine as hell, that really is, that's not the thing to look for. You know what I mean? That's not the thing to look for. The thing to look for is how y'all get along together. What kind of bond y'all, what kind of bond you have. Just like you got men out here that they're mandingos. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pick a mandingo. Usually the mandingos out here, they want to keep conquering and conquering and conquering because they feel like they're a mandingo. And so, you have to maybe deal with that, and you have to look and see, well, damn, is that something I really want to be involved in? Do I really want to? Is it that important? Yeah, well, I mean, some people say it is. They look at the sex and they say, wow, he blows my mind. Or she blows my mind. And no, forget about who blows whose mind. Don't look at it like that, because that's where the problem is. Your mind's blown before you even getting in the sack, before you even getting in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Step back, take a moment, and look at yourself and love yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Show yourself love first. You know what I mean? And when you show yourself love, and people see that you love yourself, trust me, they have no other choice. They have no other choice but to have respect for you because you show love to yourself. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about, man. That is what it's all about. Listen, let me put on When You Smile. We'll be right back right after this.
Ferris wheel going round.
How does this go again?
Where will she smile? Nobody knows. Take a ride, take a chance. Nobody knows.
First things first, my heart do still hurt. It just might still sting from that one time fling. Flavio the space boy, remember the letters. We're never done with that phase, just hit me whenever. Never felt fresher, been just a full dresser. Don't address any problems, baby, keep that sweater. Never knew hiding them would be much better. Never knew all the love could be much stress. Equal eye from the jacket, baby, don't get upset. Fuck the reason and the purpose to flex. The point of the patch is the message, not the money with fashion. So take a lesson, living life to just bless it.
Where will she smile? Nobody knows.
You gotta hold on, man.
Take a
It's
ride,
fast, that's all you can do.
take a chance.
Wow.
Nobody knows.
Never know, man.
Take a ride, take a chance.
Yo, life together, memories I still treasure. Rainy day from St. Key, let's color some bad weather. Many ways I could see us all being together. Romantic MC, I'm the one that you want. I never front, I never front. My bars is never in cursive, my writing's weird. It's just multiple fonts, multiple viewers got multiple wants, multiple fans got multiple plans, and many groupies trying to see me, maybe kiss me and do it. Renowned unique, it sounds crazy, but it's mad unique. Listen to the tune, cause that's the true me. Truly, my music sounds travel fast for me.
Where will she smile? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, bro.
Take a ride, take a chance. Nobody knows.
The best part of life, trust me.
Take a ride, take a chance. Nobody knows. Take a ride, take a chance. I feel
Okay. All right, listen. Let me get down to the point here. Let me get down to the point of the matter why I'm on this live right now. Is what I'm trying to say to you guys, and this is just my opinion. Sometimes you run into some people and they act frantic, right? And you like them, but they're frantic, emotional, attitude, bite you, chomp your head off, just constantly got a negative energy. Yo, it's not you. It's not you. remember, it's not you. Now you go home and you start doubting yourself and saying, damn, you know what I'm saying? Well, maybe I'm doing something wrong and maybe it's my fault and this and that. Yo, wake up. Wake up. It's not you. It's them. And that's my whole point. So if you got a friend out there that, you know what I'm saying, that you care about, you know what I'm saying, but you just continuously see this energy, coming through, you might want to rethink that person and you might want to stop it before it even starts. And for those who are that like get emotionally connected, it's best for you to stop it quickly, because if you don't stop it quickly, you can fall into a deep depression. You can start blaming yourself. You can start thinking it's you, start doubting yourself. But that's what they want. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to, they want to hang up the phone and you to be thinking somewhere else, because they feel like they have control over you by their attitudes and their ways. But they don't have control over you because they don't have control over themselves. They don't have control over their own emotions. And when that you're dealing with someone like that, that is like that, and they're kind of stuck in their ways. Like, those are the kind of people you just gonna have to let go. You just gonna have to let them go, because you're wasting your time and you're wasting your energy. You know what I mean? So this goes out to everyone out there that has a heart. You know what I mean? If you out there and you got a heart and you feel and you hurt and you going through things and you going through struggles and young people, you got somebody and you wondering, why are they treating me like that? Why is this happening like that? It's because you don't have control over their emotions. You can only control yourself. You only control yourself. You can't control them. You just can't do it. Can't do it, man. Let it go. Even though it hurts. Even though it hurts, let it go. I'm telling you, man. Listen, I'm not gonna say nothing that's not correct, that don't make sense, that you know 2 + 2 = 4. Come on, man. This is the way it is. This will save you the emotional heartache, because there's so many changes that's happening right now in this country, and the way we deal with each other is a big change. How we communicate, we're in a tsunami right now, and if you don't realize and recognize, you know, that there's a lot of hurt people out there that's going to try to hurt other people. Um, there's a lot of diseases out there, that people are holding on to and they're not telling you, and and they're bringing it to you. There's a lot going on, but it's up to you to find your path and find your way. And um, it's the only way, man. It's the only way. Anyway. So listen, I got some music, man, that I be wanting to put on sometimes, because I be feeling in the mood kind of thing. Like, I like certain instrumentals and musics and stuff like that, So sometimes I be trying to kind of enjoy them. And also just want to see if I'm gonna get like a strike. You know what I mean? Let me see. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see. And if I do, well, you know what? I keep speaking stuff and just do it. We're gonna do this. All right. Yeah. So basically, this is a song that what I'm saying. Yeah, I like it. You know what I mean? Can you focus? Baby, can you focus on me? Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me? 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 Baby, focus. Focus on me. Can you focus on me? Yeah. Can you focus on me? Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me? Can you focus on me? That's how we do it, man. That's how we do. We just want to jam every once in a while, man. Just to have a little bit of fun. I like this. I like music. I like sounds. I like songs. I like stuff like that, man. I get into stuff like that, man. It really, like these old songs, like people used to love. Like, I don't know. Y'all remember this song? You remember this song? This used to be the song, right?
Yeah.
No. No.
That's that kind of stuff. You chilling with your girl, you know what I mean? You got some drinks, lights are down low, and you kind of in her ear talking about, yeah, baby. Yeah, you know that sexy, that you know what I mean. This is that music, that stuff from back in the days when we used to dance and we used to hold each other, we used to love each other, we used to just man. Those were the days. All right, let's kind of switch up here, man, because I don't want y'all to get all in your emotions. Just like I did in the archive here. Let's go back. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we can get back to that, man. Anyway, listen, I'm just saying this, y'all. Listen, just kind of love yourself, um, keep your self-esteem high. You know what I mean? Keep your self-esteem high and don't let nobody, make you feel less than, don't let nobody put you down, make you feel like, you can't do, you can't achieve, you can't, make things happen. There's always a bunch of haters out here that will say, what the hell you doing over there singing? You know what I'm saying? Or haters that will say your channel is kind of this and that. Some things you could take and you could say, you know what, I could take it as a learning lesson. But then some things you just got to take it and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, take it and leave it. You know what I mean? Anyway, this has been Like It Really Is with Maurice. I appreciate you guys for just being a part of what I do, man. We're going to have a lot more content. I just wanted to come on today, just to show some love, kind of like, let you guys know that, I am still around. We are still making moves. Just keep supporting look at my videos, man. Go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel, man. People that I've known for years, the people that have not done it yet, get over there and support the channel. Show some love. This way I don't have to, pay for StreamYard, because StreamYard is a little funny. They playing games. So I want to have everybody on YouTube so I could just stream one thing one time, one time. And then whatever I do in the future, you'll be a part of that too as well. So remember, go to Like It Really Is with Maurice, YouTube, hit that bell, subscribe to the channel, check out the videos. Some of them are good, some of them ain't good. You know what I mean? But you know what? It's a process. As I get input and I upload, I'm learning, we growing and we just do things. Remember the SAVER program, go over to that. That's SAUVER, Stop Anger, Unfold Violence, Educate and Redeem. That's the youth program, the youth show that I have that's on YouTube as well. Go check that out. Hashtag Wendy Williams cousin Maurice. Go through all of that, without hate, without all that, because, people be hating. Stop hating. You know what I'm saying? Special shout out to North Carolina, Charlotte. You already know who you are out there. Peace and love and blessings, Listen, I don't know where my future is going to hold, and I don't know where my future is going to lie. But there's one thing that I'm going to make sure is that I'm not going to have dysfunction or, in my life, for my future. I'm not going to have, people, that don't know how to feel and don't know how to love, and, people that play games, emotional games, all of those people. Remember, there's a certain basket for you, right? And you need to stay in that basket. You know what I mean? when you come across kings, when you come across leaders, when you come across people that are alpha, or just people that speak up for themselves, don't come with that hood bold crap. That, you know what I'm saying? Don't come with that, because that is played out. People are trying to stay sucker free, and nobody ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? This is Like It Really Is. I am your host, Maurice. That music I just try to just drop. You know what I'm saying? I don't own the rights to that music. I'm just you know what I mean? Just playing it. All right, this is Like It Really Is with Maurice. Remember, be blessed, be thankful, grateful for everything that you have. Darnisha, love and blessings, and everybody out there, peace and blessings. Yo, until next time, this is Like It Really Is with Maurice. Peace.
Salute, kid. Always. Always thankful and grateful. Let me stay blessed. You heard? I'm so blessed. So are you. Yeah. I love myself. I love my life. I love my kids. I love my wife. I'm positive. I try to do what's right. I respect darkness, but rather live in light. Yo, I love my fam. I love my mom. I love my community. I love God. I love unity. He died for you and me. I always be thankful and grateful. Wouldn't you be? Sing it, Queen. Me too. Say what? Always. Always thankful and grateful. Stay blessed.
Special shout out to Beverly. Special shout out to Beverly. Blessings to you. Shout out to Barb. Peace and blessings and love to you too as well.